The Parkinson's Disease Foundation says more than 10 million people worldwide are living with the illness. There's still no cure, so innovative minds around the globe are looking for ways to ease symptoms and improve quality of life for patients and their families. One team in Colombia has come up with a high-tech solution using one of the most ubiquitous gadgets on Earth. Michelle Bege is in Bogota live for us with more. Michelle?
Yes, we got to speak with the Parkinson's patient who's been using a Colombian app that is helping improve his quality of life.
69-year-old Carlos watches the steady hand of sharpshooting contestants participating in the Summer Olympics. For this Colombian, a steady pulse was also an important part of his work as a carpenter and painter. But 3 years ago, his life changed, starting with an accident.
While bowling, I threw a ball, and the next day I felt pain. I spent 1 year in physical therapy, going to 500 different sessions, and the pain didn't go away.
His doctor later diagnosed him with the chronic and progressive movement disorder known as Parkinson's disease. The cause is unknown, and there's presently no cure, only treatment through medication and surgery that can lessen the symptoms.
I have difficulty tying my shoes and brushing my teeth. Any movements with my hands are difficult because it feels heavy and rigid. There is trembling, rigidity, and heaviness in my legs when I walk.
Local health officials recommended that Carlos meet with Colombian neurosurgeon William Contreras. In 2013, Dr. Contreras developed an app that claims to ease the difficulty in walking produced by Parkinson's.
I feel like marching.
Through music, the app helps the patient release dopamine, a chemical substance that sends messages to parts of the brain that controls movement and coordination. The death of these dopamine neurons is what produces the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. The creators of the app, called Listen Me, tested the technology on patients in Germany, Colombia, and Brazil. Although they claim further studies are needed in order to clarify and maximize its benefits, the initial results showed that auditory cues could help improve the patient's walking speed, cadence, and stride length by 20 to 45%.
I feel so good, doctor. I feel positive energy.
Dr. Contreras says the app can't reverse severe symptoms presented during the most advanced stages of Parkinson's. But patients like Carlos, who are at the initial stages of the disease, have the most to benefit from the app, as it can help slow the progression of rigidity.
I feel young and the need to run, like I used to feel when I ran, jumped, and danced. I feel those spectacular sensations, and I want to walk faster.
The creator says he hopes to reach the 200,000 Parkinson's patients in Colombia, like Carlos Mejia, and improve their lives one step at a time.
The Listen Me app was created by 2 neurosurgeons and an industrial engineer. We sat down with co-creator Dr. William Contreras, and I asked him how he came up with this idea.
I was living in Germany, and I went to a party where I saw a person with Parkinson's who was having trouble getting to the restroom. When you have Parkinson's, you can have 100 times more difficulty to travel a distance than a person without Parkinson's. Later that night, I saw him dancing. He was moving with more agility, like a person without the disease. I thought there were 2 possibilities. Either he took medication and it was working, or the music was basically guiding his steps. So when I began to read through medical journals, I found that music allows for the neurons to travel faster. Essentially, music makes the orders sent from the brain to the legs travel faster.
What is happening in a Parkinson's patient during the progression of the disease?
Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that controls the movement and the coordination of movements. The Parkinson's patient doesn't produce enough dopamine, which is like the oil in the motor of a car. So when he or she doesn't have dopamine, he is rigid, he is slow to move and has tremors. So what the music does is produce emotions of happiness or sadness, and that releases dopamine. So our theory is that the release of this dopamine activates supplementary motor activity in the brain, not the central nervous system. And this permits the patient to walk faster and with longer strides.
O si es muy animada, nos pone muy contentos, ¿cierto?
What is your goal with the app?
Entonces, lo que busca la app es devolver.
The app's goal is to give the patient his independence back. So when he is laying down, sitting, or standing, and he wants to start walking, he won't need to call the family member or physical therapist nearby. With just the sound, he can begin to move faster.
Moverse más rápido.
Parkinson's patients are usually treated through more traditional methods, such as surgery, medicine. How does the app supplement those types of treatment?
Paciente con Parkinson, al no tener dopamina, pues el tratamiento
A patient with Parkinson's doesn't have dopamine. So when they don't have dopamine, the treatment is to replace it with medication. And the patients do well with medication for a period of 3 to 7 years. But the disease is progressive, so the medication stops working as the neurons continue to die and they need more medication. And even with the two alternatives of surgery and medication, some patients still have difficulties in walking despite physical therapy and surgery. So that is what the app can try to help with, through specific sounds and frequencies that are individualized for the patient, and through goggles that we have also created that produce visual stimulus. We can help them walk much better.
profunda que nosotros también la hacemos.
Doctor, we live in a world where smartphones, technology is all around us. It's accessible to a lot of people. So what role do you see technology playing in neuroscience, in the treatment of patients?
Entonces, lo interesante de estas tecnologías es primero que no son peligrosas.
First of all, this technology is not dangerous. What is interesting about the use of these technologies in medicine is that they don't harm the patient. So it is easier to do a trial and error, unlike in the development of a new medicine. It is also fun for the patient. So we need to use them, and we need to make them friendly for the patient.
Ver cómo cambia su marcha.
What are some of the challenges in producing this type of technology?
Hay varios retos. Lo primero es
One of the challenges is making it cheaper. Our intelligent glasses, for example, are pretty accessible as they cost less than $1,000 US. And in Europe, other glasses run around $16,000. But we want to make it accessible for people in developing countries like Colombia, and we want the technology to be used in all of Latin America.
en vía de desarrollo como el nuestro, como Colombia, ¿sí?
Dr. Contreras was very proud of the fact that the creators are all Colombian. In fact, he says that he hopes that Colombia can be a place to develop more innovative technology, and they're moving back to Colombia in order for any technology that is developed by them can carry a label that says Made in Colombia. Back to you.
Fascinating breakthrough. Michelle Begay there for us live from Bogota.